What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Sling'n Lead Live. I am TJ, the Lead Sling'n Ginger, and joining me, as always, is my friend and compatriot in the firearms industry, Kent Hauer of Green Mountain Defense. Kent, what's going on, buddy?
The lead slingingest of gingers. How are you, sir?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Well, I'm good. Sadly, I've had a kind of a crappy week. My son, who just, if you guys saw my Instagram feed, just had his 10th birthday this week, and we just found out he has strep throat, and he's been sick like all week. Poor kid.
Sick kids suck.
Yeah, I felt bad for him. I mean, he's been a little trooper though, so God bless him. But yeah, he's with Mama right now. They went over to the urgent care because it wasn't getting any better, and yeah, we decided to go ahead and take action and accept the gigantic medical bill for, here's a Band-Aid, let it work its course, But either way, he's being a trooper. But otherwise, I mean, things have been going pretty good here this week. How are things with you, man? Like, anything new at the range? Like, you learn any new tricks of the trade?
I'm learning that I really suck at shooting outlaw trap. I can't hit the broadside of a barn from the inside with a shotgun, apparently, so that's a thing.
Outlaw trap, real quick. What is that? I've honestly never heard of that.
So outlaw trap is what happens when you get a bunch of competitive pistol shooters together that don't know how to run a trap range, but we know how to press buttons and make shit fly around in the sky and try to shoot it.
I gotcha. Okay, yeah, cool. That's all. So is this with pistols or with shotguns?
No. Shotguns.
I mean, pistols would be cooler, let's be honest.
Yeah. But for any county, state, or local law enforcement, we are, in fact, not shooting pistols into the air toward the outskirt of our berm. We are certainly not doing that. No.
Y'all are no fun. I'm not coming to your range anymore.
See me with a Taurus Judge with an offset holster?
Yeah. Hey. It's a shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
all right, so we were talking about something that we were trying to educate people on. I forget what.
Yeah, so we were talking about red dot sights, but real quick, let's get some shout outs out of the way. So real quick, guys, head on over to rightonoptics.com. Right On Optics, the choice of optics for the Lead Sling'n Ginger channel. Rifle scopes, binoculars, all sorts of goodies made out of glass and metal for your viewing pleasure. See what I did there? But yeah, remember, T. Ramsey, coupon code, get you 15% off at checkout when you go to rightonoptics.com. Links, as always, will be down in the description. Now that that's out of the way, red dots on pistols. So for those of you that maybe are just joining us, if you go back to last week's episode, Kent and I were discussing the ever-popular and growing trend of red dots on pistols. Bit of a taboo thing, actually, still in some circles, 1911 crowd. But truth be told, a real force multiplier. I firmly believe in them. I like them a lot. Kent, of course, you've got quite a few pistols with those on it. And I think where we left off, see, there we go. Where we left off, we were talking about zeroing the red dot on the pistol and how you should not do what I have done in the past and slave it to your iron sights.
Yeah, so slavery is bad. That was a terrible one. But no, so a couple ways you can zero a dot to your gun. For those of us that like to compete and train, et cetera, we run a bunch of loads through our gun. I would encourage you guys to zero your dot with what you're actually going to carry, with the real deal ammo that's going to matter most. So if that's 135 grain HST, that's what I want you to zero with. Not a plug for the HST necessarily. That's just what's next to me right now. But if you're going to zero with your carry ammo. So that being the first caveat. Second being, there's a kind of a hullabaloo out there. The difference in the 25-yard versus the 10-yard zero.
Real quick, I just want to say we're going to start a bingo for some of the crazy crap that gets said on this channel.
What, like hullabaloo?
Hullabaloo will be the free center square at this point. Anyway, please continue.
A synonym for that would be mishigosh or nonsense.
Shenanigans, I tell you.
Shenanigans. So, do we zero at 10 or do we zero at 25? You can make an argument either way. I'm not going to tell you what's right or wrong. I'll tell you I've switched from 25 to 10 because I find that it holds a closer vertical spread from 0 to 25 yards with my ammo. What I am going to tell you is external ballistics matter on handguns with optics. So don't think that you can just, I guess what TJ was talking about originally was if you just put that dot on top of your front sight post and walk away and leave it go, you're missing out on something. And no disrespect, and I don't mean to clown on anybody or whatever, but all y'all 5-yard snipers at the range that say you're 7-yard snipers, but you're really 5-yard snipers, and you've never seen the 25-yard line way back there someplace. You may or may not know the difference. If you never shoot past 5 yards or something, okay, fine. I don't subscribe to that, and quite frankly, that's not where the red dot's helping you anyway. So I don't know why you have it. But find a zero and know what your zero is hitting at various distances. There is some, it's not like a rifle, but there is some height over bore up close. There would be, even if you were just shooting suppressor sights. These are taller sights than they would be otherwise. So you do have some height over bore up close. For me, that magic sweet spot is anywhere between 5 to 12 yards. Things are going pretty much where I want them to go. As I get further and further back with a 10-yard zero, I'm starting to put rounds a little higher. But we're talking just a couple-inch vertical spread. I'm still hitting the head box from 5 yards to 25 yards as long as I don't take the gun to flinch town. So,
yeah. If I can just add to your point, I have heard the same thing. It's like that's the great question, right? 10 yards versus 25 yards. A lot of the reputable pistol shooters that I know have opted, that dabble more in the tactical realm, right, than just the competition realm, have opted for the 10-yard zero for their red dot. And it's because, as you said, obviously a 25-yard zero is going to put you on dead on at 25, but the variable distance and the tightness of the shot group over that length is going to be better with the 10 yards based on the ballistic chart for the 9mm round. I actually even think, and I'd have to find the data on this, but the 10-yard red dot for pistol zero for 9mm, at least for 124 grain, 125 grain NATO spec 9mm, is actually good to, I want to say 100. Not dead on, mind you, not dead on, but will get you really, really close to 100 better than the 25-yard zero would.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. Find a ballistics table that's meant for rifle stuff and put in a velocity and a weight and a sectional density for a 9mm if you can find all that. And you're going to see pretty quickly that things do kind of level out. Now, let's be honest, it's going to take me some serious trigger prep and some serious time and extension to make a shot at 100 yards reliably. But
I don't know. A man-sized target, dude, I think you could do it.
Well, I can do it. But
like an IPSC steel, I think you'd be somewhat center mass, maybe a little bit low and left. Or wait, you're left-handed, so low and right.
Sure. I'm gonna hit him, but
no, but yeah. So it is. I'll give you this. It's a lot easier now. Are you going to be shooting the wings off of a fly from off a dog's ass at 150 yards? No, not happening.
Wait. But, were the wings on the dog's ass, or were the wings on the fly that was on the dog's ass?
Yes, second one.
Got you.
Okay, but yeah. So the 10-yard. I'm just going to go ahead and say this official position for Lead Sling'n Ginger at least is 10-yard. MRDS pistol optic zero, 10 yards, period.
Yeah,
take my word for it. I'm on YouTube.
Yeah, he's on YouTube. Caveat, I do change that zero for like my Glock 40 MOS, which is a hunting gun for me. So that one's got a 25-yard zero on it because my shots are going to be probably 25 yards.
At least, right. Yeah, so hunting with pistols is a lot like hunting with archery tackle. So 25 yards or 20 yards, 25 yards, preferable zero there. I'll give you that one. But we're talking about them two-legged predators.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think the 10-yard zero is a good spot for it. So also just to recap, we discussed the optics of choice for getting your self-defense on, get your molaning your labe, RMR by Trigicon, and the Delta Point Pro from Loophole. Close third being the Holosun. What was it? The 507. Am I getting that number right? You're not giving me the north south. Okay, so the Holosun 507. All others, they're good for competition. I personally wouldn't trust my life on them.
That being
Aimpoint
Acro. Aimpoint Acro is coming out.
Aimpoint Acro, that is coming out. Of course, Aimpoint is a trusted brand. I'll give them that one. But yeah, their Acro is also. But I was trying to stick to ones that were already on the market. But keep a close eye on that one. I want to see Aaron Cowan's testing of that one from Sage Dynamics. That dude has probably got the best red dot optics like test that he has put together that I've ever seen.
I heard he did a bad review of it, and Steve Fisher has him locked in a basement, and he won't let him out until he does it again.
I'd pay to see that.
That's not true at all.
I mean, it'd be funny, but
not even remotely true.
No.
Anyway,
but yeah, so like dude, I feel kind of bad. So like, I saw a post for the 6 Hour Romeo 3 that just came out, or is being released. So this is another MRDS pistol optic that Sig Sauer is releasing, or Sig Optics is releasing. And I commented on there saying, "Wow,
you mean one that Holosun is making and Sig is putting their name on?"
Yeah, whatever. Okay. So I looked at it and I was like, "Hey, that looks really good. Hopefully, it's more resilient than the Romeo 1." For those playing the home game, I've been through 3 of them. Not from dropping them or beating them either, just from shooting. So yeah, come to find out, it was Max Michel's post.
Oh, great!
Yeah.
Perfect.
Did not even realize it. I just knee-jerk react. That's don't Instagram before your second cup of coffee, folks. It can end badly. Max Michel's kind of like a personal hero to me. Dude's a machine on the range.
Yeah, but he's got 11 of those in his freaking bag, and when he breaks another one, he just rotates up. And
no, I'm not even going to go that. Like, he's got his name stamped on this, apparently. Like, it's got the Max Michel stamp and emblem on it. I was like,
so this time they paid Trigicon to make it, and somebody in a Sharpie like, Max, how do you spell Michelle? M-I-C-A?
Yeah. Yeah, so I kind of put my foot in my mouth with that. But hey, he liked my comment, so I feel better. I mean, maybe that's him saying, "Yeah, it is, douche."
Yeah, or that's him saying, "Well, nobody paid you $100,000 to put your name on a site, so."
Yeah, no kidding. But yeah, all joking aside, folks, I like Sig just fine. I've got P3. I've got guns that are P320s. I mean, come on. But yeah, so. Anyway, moving on from that. So I think we've I think we've kind of covered the MRDS on pistols pretty sufficiently at this point. One thing I do want to point out, just for lexicon or nomenclature, not all sights are RMRs.
Every hot tub, every jacuzzi is a hot tub, but not every hot tub is a jacuzzi.
Right. Yeah, RMR. Specifically for Trigicon, if you want to refer to them just generally, MRDS, micro red dot sight. That'll at least keep you from looking stupid in like internet forums and stuff. So
I was in a gun store the other day, and a fella answered the following question in the following way. I said, "Hey, you guys got any RMRs?" He goes, "Yeah, I've got the one from Sig, I've got the one from Holosun, I've got the one from," and I was just like,
"Oh no,
no."
Yeah. Kind of got to know what you're talking about. That's like, God. Either way, let's digress on that one. So I think the other things that we wanted to talk about with regards to carry guns was just general modifications to the carry gun. I know before we went live, you and I were talking about triggers, the bang switch.
Bang.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, there are a couple of things to keep in mind when we're talking trigger modifications on carry firearms. Firstly, this internet lawyer nonsense about if you modify the trigger on your carry gun, you're going to go to jail because you modified the trigger on your carry gun, is so far down the list of stuff that y'all need to be worried about that I don't know why we're even talking about it anymore, right? Here's the scoop on this. If you are in a justified self-defense use of force, you're in a justified self-defense use of force. It doesn't matter if you use an ice pick or a tricked out Glock, you're justified in what happened. Okay?
Absolutely.
So,
and we did cover that with Mr. Relford, Guy Relford, Esquire. Yeah, so I had to take that video down because the audio was just terrible. We had so many problems getting the audio going. We tried our best to get that to go on the live feed, and the audio was garbage. So I've actually still been in contact with Mr. Relford. He's a fantastic guy. If you guys aren't familiar with him, he is a frequent guest on NRA TV. Is a pro Second Amendment attorney out of Indiana, if I remember correctly. But yeah, just a fantastic gentleman, and he provided a lot of very, very good insight. I'm going to have him back on the show sometime soon. But yeah, as you said, Kent, while of course we have to advise you, always check your local laws for your state. As we know, we live in a patchwork of various laws and infringements. Yeah, it's going to be different from state to state, but generally speaking, yes, just a modification to your firearm in a justified self-defense shooting is going to have very little bearing on the situation. Now, that's not to say that the prosecutor's not going to try to eat your lunch, right? They try everything in their power. So whether you reload, you've got reloaded. I think that's probably been my biggest pet peeve when it comes to gun modifications. Carrying reloaded ammunition or roll your own ammo in a carry gun for self-defense. Oh, they'll go to jail immediately for that because your ammo's more deadly. So,
yeah, that's nonsense. But so if we're gonna adjust the trigger, we're gonna modify trigger. We're gonna do something to a trigger. I don't mean to make this Glock centric, but like that's my world, right? So, and it's now becoming your world again.
It is, yeah, very quickly. I'm actually going to do a video coming up here soon on why I went back to Glock. So,
right. Glock has 3 safety devices with regard to a trigger. They got the blade, they got the plunger, and they got the striker safety. So if you have a trigger designed from an aftermarket company that is more of a gamer setup, you may find that one or more of those safeties is either cheated or slightly defeated in order to make the trigger lighter, smoother, etc. So I'm a big fan of the Overwatch triggers. That's the one I flashed up on the screen a couple times. That's the TAC flat face trigger. Reason being is they leave all those safeties intact. And they sell a total drop-in trigger unit. So on a Gen 5 Glock, all you're doing is knocking out 2 pins, a locking block, a slide lock, slide release, and the trigger pack itself comes right out. That's the end of that. It's a very simple install. I would caution you guys that want to get out your files and your steel wool and your polishing wheel and God forbid the Dremel.
Hey, I've got a Dremel and a bastard file. I'm practically a master gunsmith.
Right. Y'all are gonna do a granddaddy's nickel trigger job. Just be careful that thing don't go away on you. And if it does, invite all your friends to the range and shoot a Glock 18 for a couple rounds and then don't tell the ATF. But like,
we laugh, but I've seen that happen.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I've seen Glocks go full auto. Now, not necessarily dump the whole mag, but like guy went to ride the slide home or drop the slide and it right in front of him. I was like, whoo, might need to fix that. So
yeah, it's got that 3 to 7 round burst switch on it that nobody knew about.
Yeah, the burst-ish switch, full auto-ish.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, I think the triggers is a good point. I think that's probably one of the biggest points, right? Is if you want to modify your trigger naturally, do so in accordance with your local laws. Like for prime example, like this is purely just no, I don't want to say conjecture, but this is as I understand it, like even law enforcement in some states, New York being the one I'm thinking of specifically, are required to have a 12-pound trigger disconnect in their service pistols. Yeah. Hence the New York trigger. That's what that means. So
the ACLU had that law enacted so the criminals would have a fighting chance of surviving in New York.
Yeah, apparently. And now, from what I understand, they can't figure out why their qualification scores are going to the toilet after implementing that requirement.
Yeah. So, yeah, triggers. I mean, Overwatch is good. Zev makes some good stuff. You do have to watch Zev, though. Zev has some gamer stuff and then some carry stuff. So pick from the right product line. I'm going to say 3.5 pounds and heavier is where you want to be on a carry gun. I don't think you want to go much lower than that.
I've had guns with really, really light triggers, like 1 to 2 pounds. And I'll be honest, man, after, knowing now what I should have probably known then, it actually makes me uncomfortable thinking that I carried something so light.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no reason for that. Let's see what else. Do keep in mind that especially in a Glock, these guns are generation specific, so you can't just buy an Overwatch trigger and throw it from a Gen 3 to a Gen 5. Make sure you get the correct labeling.
Yeah, and all this might seem a little asinine to even talk about, but you guys got to remember one of the primary reasons we're telling you this stuff is because of, as Kent said, some of these bypass the safeties. So there is a chance, even if you get a Gen 3 trigger to somehow work in a Gen 4 or 5 Glock, it might not be safe.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I can give you a perfect example. I was having a problem. The reason I swapped this trigger in the first place is because I bent the trigger bar. So I was getting parts and pieces trying to put a trigger bar together. And I grabbed the Gen 4 trigger bar and a Gen 5 trigger bar, the connector, excuse me, not the bar itself, but the connector. And I held them up together. I mic'd them. For the life of me, I could not tell a difference in those two. And I just happened to safety check the gun, and the son of a bitch would not reset. So if I'd have put all that back,
it has to do with the geometry of the curvatures.
Exactly. Yeah, and it was
imperceptible. It's not a thickness. It's not a length. It's a geometry. Like there's angles and stuff where all the metal interfaces with those things. So
if you'd have held the two of them together, you wouldn't have been able to perceive it with your eye. But there is something different. So just pay attention to what you're putting in your gun. Is my point.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I will tell you what, that irresponsibility, while having the lighter trigger, might not hang you out to dry in the unfortunate event that you ever have to deploy a firearm to defend yourself or others. The neglect in not having the foresight to consider bypassing safeties, even inadvertently, I could see how a jury would have a field day with that.
Oh yeah, if you dick with your trigger, draw a gun in a defensive situation, and you dome somebody you didn't mean to dome, and they find out that you've got a Gen 3 this and a Gen 4 that and a Gen 5 this cobble-jobbled together, that's a different conversation. So don't do that.
Yeah. I will tell you this, something that's incredibly enlightening is to go watch the Zimmerman trial.
Well, that gun didn't have a trigger because it was a Kel-Tec, right?
Right.
Don't those come with a hammer that you have to hit the striker plate in order to make it go off? Or?
Yeah, well, it's a matchlock. But I mean, all jokes aside with that, if you want to see, just kind of get an idea on what a prosecutor is going to do or what they're going to say, like this is a Kel-Tec. This was I can't even remember the model number, but it was one of their common, compact or ultra compact, like 9mm. I think it was a P9 or P11.
It was the Kel-Tec PFBS, Nothing Fancy Special.
Right. So they had. I mean, this is a run of the mill. I don't know that there are any modifications that you can make to those guns. And
there are. A Glock.
Dude, I will tell you what, they had like at least 2 different firearms experts forensically analyze the crap out of those guns. They asked about trigger pull, they asked about all this, and it's not because, I mean, you like we've said before, you show me a jury that's gonna convict somebody just purely off of the weight of the trigger, and I'll show you a kangaroo court. But they tore that thing apart. So if rest assured, if you've bypassed safeties or you've done something negligently, it'll be found out. I'm fairly confident in that. So, okay, let's since we're talking about gun modifications, let's talk about the ultimate Glock modification, the Roland Special, and we can use that to capitalize on lights as well.
Okay.
Because the Roland Special kind of goes into the light, and it's actually kind of centered around the light to a degree.
Yeah. All right. I am in the. Well, I used to be in the minority on this opinion, but more and more I'm in the like 50-50 split. I really believe y'all should be carrying guns with weapon-mounted lights on them if you have the opportunity to do so, and if you don't see a detriment to concealability. The old anecdotes of police officers on the side of the road writing tickets with their X300 or TLR1 flipped on, because they didn't have another flashlight on them. I think we can pretty much get past that. Most of us are carrying a handheld flashlight these days. If you're not, you should be doing that as well. But the weapon-mounted light, look, we have a responsibility to properly identify PID, positive identification, anything that we put bullets in. It is dark half of the day, right? Half of the 24 hours are dark. Maybe it's 9, maybe it's 11. Maybe you're in Alaska and it's dark all the time. Maybe it's never dark there, so you Alaskans don't have to carry a Surefire half the year. Fine, I'll let you off the hook. The rest of you, I'm telling you, man, these days with I'm not a huge fan of Enforce, but Enforce makes that little APLC. Streamlight makes the little TLR7. The X300, that's what you're looking at on a G19 slide. That's how far that thing sticks out.
And to be fair, Surefire does make some more compact designs now, thank Christ.
The XC1 is the XC1 version 2 is great. The XC1 version 1 is great for all you right-handed people, but they forgot lefties in the switching. So that wasn't fair. But the version 2 is cool. Point being, there's a lot of
minority. Just saying.
Yeah, well, all right, it is what it is. No minority jokes. TJ sponsors will leave him. No minority jokes. TJ sponsors will leave him.
Anyway, you are the minority. It's not my fault your people only make up 10% of the population of the world.
Just the best 10%. Don't worry about it. Any hooser. So, point being, have a light on your gun. Be able to positively identify. Don't use it as a crutch. Learn to scan with the light correctly. Learn the application of the light in defensive context. Don't flip the light on and run all through your house like you're in a ninja movie unless you know how to actually work a fatal funnel and pie a corner. And if you haven't been in a class or haven't been taught that shit by Uncle Sam, don't pretend you do. Because I promise you, if you go searching through your house, you're going to get it handed to you by novice Jimmy the burglar who you sneak up on in your bathroom. But if you're going to get this gun up off the nightstand and you're going to protect a point of, look at TJ trying not to laugh. If you're gonna protect,
I don't have a robe, man. They're gonna get a 240-pound greased up ginger gorilla coming at him stark naked, waving a gun around in a battle axe. Sorry, I had that mental image playing through my head when we were talking about clearing the house tonight.
Yeah. Anyway, Safariland does not make a QLS fork for your butt crack, ladies and gentlemen. There is no such thing.
No, they do not.
Anyway, if you're going to get this gun and you're going to defend a point of egress or a point of ingress, and you're going to stay stationary and you're going to get behind some cover and you've got some nasty coming your way, it's a real good idea to be able to hit him in the face with 1,000 lumens or 600 lumens or even 300 lumens Let's not argue about lumens versus candela. I'm not a scientist. All I know is I want to see him, and I want him to see Jesus. So let's just leave it at that. And I've got weapon lights on everything I put a weapon light on. I've got them on rifles. I've got them on shotguns. I've got them on pistols. I'm a big proponent of weapon lights just in general for home defense purposes.
So I'm kind of I with you 100%. Lights on pistols is a great thing. I, however, only have one because they're expensive. However, whatever gun that I have, whatever gun is the flavor of the week for its rotation in the home defense safe, they're weapon light equipable. So I take that Surefire X300, unclip it from the Glock, put it on the P320, put it on my CZ, put it on my AR-15. It fits just about everywhere. So now, granted, if you've got the big money like Kent does, you can afford to put that shit on everything. It's like sriracha hot sauce. It goes on everything.
I've got X300s and RMRs like on my dog. It's just like they're just everywhere. No, but honestly,
red dot.
That's a great point. TJ brings up a real good point. Look, I want y'all to be spending your money on ammo and training and quality equipment first. I'm going to be very candid with you. There's the reason. Well, TJ and I share this, right? Like the reason we do part-time stuff other than our full-time occupations is so that we can support our hobbies and our interests and have this equipment. This stuff is not cheap, and it is a big, I am slightly rich because of my beautiful face, but all kidding aside, it's a big expenditure to put a $500 optic and a $300 light and a $400 slide and a $200 trigger on your gun. And I'm not going to say that it's not, but I take this, and I know you do as well. I'm preaching to the choir here. I take this stuff seriously enough that if I'm going to really and truly everyday carry, and I'm really going to do this for real, be serious, train, etc., teach other people, I have a responsibility to have the best gear possible.
Yes, absolutely.
Without the aversion or the illusion, I guess is the better word, that you can buy performance or accuracy, or you can buy your way to a higher skill level, because you cannot.
No, but you can buy reliability.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I would rather. Now, there's some reliable stuff out there at a bargain price. Now, I personally haven't tried the Olight yet. I hear good things, but Surefire is a trusted brand. Carried it in the military, beat the ever-loving snot out of it on 7 deployments, and these things continue to work. If it comes down to forego, okay, I'm not big on trigger upgrades for like defensive and duty pistols. For me, I don't personally see the need. Competition stuff all day long, right? Me personally, I just prefer to train through it, and by not upgrading those things or getting that tricked out equipment like a fancy trigger, it makes me like, okay, I'm not gaming this. This is a stock deal. I need to go out and train with this to where it does not make a difference if I've got that Gucci trigger or not. Personally, if you want to get a better trigger, by all means, go for it. But understand that if the choice is between spending $200 on a performance trigger and spending $250 on a reliable flashlight or weapon-mounted light, or $500 on an RMR because the light and the RMR are reliable, then spend the money there.
Yep.
Try once, cry once. I know that's cliche as all hell, but it's true, especially when you're talking about aftermarket accessories for the pistol. That statement has never rung more true.
Well, and here's what always kills me, right? Like the typical gun store commando has 40 POS guns instead of 10 that are set up correctly and a bunch of training classes.
Yep.
That's where it always gets me, where I see these guys and I'm like, every time they come to the range, they've got the new hotness. But the new hotness got 2 mags because that's what come in the box. And they've got a bargain basement or a universal holster. And they're out there. No. Friends don't let friends carry Serpa or Uncle Mike's or any number of nonsense.
Yeah, exactly.
But like the thing, guys, is that this can be done. These things can be done over time. If I was gonna choose here, I'm gonna do you my order of importance. So this gun, aftermarket slide, aftermarket barrel, aftermarket trigger, after da 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 da. What would I do first? First thing I would do before anything else is I'd throw a light on the thing.
Yep.
Before I even change sights out, I'd put a light on the gun.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, the only modification I've made to my current Glock 19 is putting my Surefire on it.
Yeah, because tonight at midnight, when the you-know-what hits the fan, those white, terrible plastic Glock sights are going to look pretty good contrasted against all them lumens, and they're going to do their job. Okay?
Right.
I would do that. I would then do the slide upgrades and do the RMR. Then in order of importance, I would do the trigger. But the gun is really, it's only so much that you can do with the gun to make it that much better for you. And to TJ's credit, right? Like, yeah, I could go back. I got a bone stock 19X back there. Nothing's been done to it. Hell, the freaking mag release is even on the wrong side for me. I guarantee you I can run the socks off of that gun tomorrow night if I have to.
Yeah, and you know that used to be, I used to have the mindset of I can make any upgrade I want to this gun and make it do what I want it to do. What impressed me and what really kind of, I won't say changed my mindset, but really kind of made me realize that, yeah, I'm kind of right, but at the same time, I'm wrong to think that the actual performance parts makes an actual difference for someone who's willing to go out and train. There are people that you can give a stock Glock 19 or 17 or whatever to, completely bone stock, no lights, no nothing, and they will run circles around you with it because they train.
The other thing, and God willing, I finally getting to this point. You could get to a point in your training and your skill set where you're going to notice the difference of an aftermarket barrel, where you're going to notice the difference in whether or not your sights are tuned up to your RMR correctly or not, where you're going to notice the difference in the trigger. At a certain skill level, these things start to really become useful to you as a user of the tool. Whereas, the first time you pick one of these up, it's going to feel like a brick in your hand no matter what. And your level of comfort and confidence isn't going to be there. So I think that as long as you're not trying to buy performance through gear, I think you're okay. I think some guys stray too far the other direction. And then, I'm not going to pass a value judgment on this either. If you're doing it because you want to do it, because you want your gun to look cool, whatever, man. I mean, we all do stuff like that. Guys put rims on their trucks. Guys, have ginger beards. Guys are,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Ginger beards.
Yeah.
At least, you know what? My Dodge Charger's got more mud on it than most of the lifted trucks around here. I just want to point that out. Anyway, sure. But yeah, so I think, Kent, what you're saying is when you're talking about gun upgrades, not attachments necessarily, but upgrades. So better optics, better sights, better triggers, better barrels. So we're not talking about the light here. That's in the attachment realm. You want the gun to perform or to improve with your skill level. So you're muted. You're muted, buddy.
Yeah, I was trying to be polite and shut up for a minute. Yeah, exactly. You want to.
And actually, I think that's what spawned with the Roland, right? The Roland Special.
So the story behind the Roland, as I understand it, Chuck, yeah, he's saying his name on the internet now. Chuck Pressburg, Press Check Consulting. I'm not doxing anybody. He's now out there publicly. His YouTube has changed his personal name and everything like that. And he's no longer going by Roland on primary and secondary or wherever else he was. I don't know what his light fighter username was. But Pressburg and somebody else whose name is escaping me right now were kind of joking around about what they could do to keep the carbon deposits off of their weapon-mounted light, off of the front of their Surefire. And they were buying KKM barrels and comps and stuff for other guns, and they said, why don't we put a comp on a carry gun? And fast forward from there, the boulder rolls downhill, and it becomes the Roland Special, because Chuck was going by Roland on the early days of primary and secondary. That was his handle, and he wasn't showing his face and stuff when he was still doing whatever awesome knuckle dragon, face shooting, killer monster stuff he was doing for the U.S. government. And now he's just a dude on the internet running a training company, a damn good one, by the way. So he's not afraid of that shit no more. But any hooser, shouldn't speak for him. But the gun's named after him, and it's named after his surname on Light Fighter. So I have gone through the mental gymnastics on whether or not to do a comped carry gun. I intend to do one. I intend to do one with the FN 509 just because that's already got a threaded barrel as part of the system. And a company called Parker Mountain Machine makes a matched compensator for that that matches the slide. So
yeah, so I think the biggest point of contention, or at least the most flack, and I get it. Like I listened to their podcast where he was talking about the origins of the Roland Special and all that other stuff. And yeah, it turned out as a gag, right? But it actually kind of turned into like, holy shit, this is really cool. This has function. And I think more importantly, it has reason to the function, right? So a lot of people see a compensator on a Glock 19 or any 9mm for that matter. And they're like, why would you need that? The recoil on a 9mm is not bad, right? It looks ridiculous. Okay, cool. You've got a compensator on a 9mm. What purpose does it serve?
Yeah.
Let me tell you what. When I actually heard the explanation, they were like, no, like it's not. They don't put the compensator on the gun to manage recoil. That is a byproduct of the purpose, at least with this philosophy. It was put on there to keep the Surefire weapon light functioning longer in a fight and help ultimately, when the RMR was attached to it, keep the RMR more consistently on target. It wasn't about the recoil. It's about the muzzle rise, which I guess that would fall under recoil. I'm not a scientist, but we're not talking about making it a softer shooter. We're talking about making it stay flatter longer and reacquire that sight faster. So you're looking at the ulterior benefits of what in the competition world the compensator serves. Because of the competition world, the compensator is meant for one thing and one thing only: reduce recoil, and that's it. I want this gun to shoot like a BB gun, period, so I can go pew-pew all day long.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing wrong.
They looked at the tactical benefits of it by keeping the red dot on target more consistently and steadily, and keeping the weapon light clean.
So yeah. So
and I'll be honest, man, that sold me. I keep my Surefire on my Glock 19. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna comp this thing. I'm gonna put an RMR on it, and I'm gonna build one. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, nothing wrong with it. Here's what I would say. If you're Tactical Timothy on the interwebs who's saying that 9mm handguns don't have recoil that matters, you should really actually go watch TJ's recent video that he did on his new CZ, where he slowed the video down to like 1/16th frame rate or whatever he did. And you can watch.
Whatever was built into my iPhone, bro. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. I don't have the numbers on it. I just hit the slow-mo setting, and whatever it was. You know?
My point being, like, yeah, whatever. Those are 9mm loads. But you can watch the wave of energy transfer go from his fingers to his wrists, to his forearms, to his biceps, to his shoulders, and disappear somewhere in his shoulders. You can literally watch that. He put it up on Instagram, and you can watch that shockwave. So here's what I'm going to tell you. You can be Mr. Tough Guy all you want, but if I can zip 10 rounds and experience 30% reduced recoil. That's going to translate to faster splits. Faster splits are going to translate to that dot leaving the center of the chest less frequently, and the further direction to travel is going to decrease, and recoil is going to look more like this instead of like this, right?
Yep.
And that's a good thing.
And I'm telling you, man, like shooting, when I shot that video, yeah, just fun. Yep. I got to get a soundboard, man. I'm telling you. When I was shooting that video, I did not. Now, the difference between the CZ and the Glock, I felt like I noticed the difference when I was shooting it. What I didn't notice was the drastic difference in how much the muzzle was rising. So it felt softer than the Glock 19, but that's not saying that the Glock 19, like I can empty a magazine and hit the target, right? I'm a really good shot and I'm very consistent and I practice my fundamentals, yada, yada, yada. But like, you don't realize exactly how much that Glock 19 is recoiling. Like it was eye opening to me in that regard. So
yeah,
it was, like ideally, like they call it, you know, there's certain guns out there that are like modeled, the name is like sight tracker. And the idea being that while the gun is recoiling, like that sight picture of your sights in line are coming straight back and straight forward. You can actually see your hand, like the target, but your sights between your eye and the target sliding back and forth, not recoiling up, but you see it moving this way if you've got your grip done properly.
Absolutely.
And I have seen that done on competition pistols. I have yet to see it done on a carry pistol.
I got one right here. My grip is so strong that it never, ever, ever recoils, not once.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's ultimately what I want to do. Is I want to see. I mean, worst case, all right. So so I don't get that. I don't necessarily get the Glock to that level by doing Rolandizing it. But the closer I can get it to that, the better. It's just me. I mean, I've already got the damn light on there. The compensator isn't going to stick out any further than the light.
No. All you got to do, for those of you who don't know, if you want to try this, if you've got a G19 and you throw a comp on it, you just order a holster that'll fit a G34, and you're done.
Mm-hmm.
That's the length difference.
Actually, I will say this though: there are some companies. So I'm a big fan of Tier 1 Concealed. They don't sponsor the channel at all. They could though.
Yet,
guys, if you're watching. So I'm a big fan of Tier 1 Concealed. I messaged them directly because they didn't have, like, it wasn't quite clear. I'm like, hey, which holster for your Axis Slim, which holster do I need to order if I'm going to build a Roland Special out of a Glock 19? And he said, order the Glock 19. Tell us in the comments that it's for a Roland Special, and we will know what to do from there.
Fair enough.
So
what are you getting for a comp and a barrel?
I don't know. I don't think I'm going to go with a KKM barrel. I was looking at a couple others. I think Blacklist was one that was catching my eye for cost efficiency.
How about Fax on, Fax off?
I'd have to look at what their offerings are, because the thing I like about Blacklist is they've got a blemished pile.
Ooh,
yeah.
Ooh,
yeah. Cheap stuff. And for those that don't know, like if you've never purchased like blemished firearms parts and components, generally speaking, performance-wise and function, they're perfect. They just have cosmetic blemishes. So if you can put up with a scratch, or maybe the coating isn't as even on all sides, or the color's not the right hue or whatever, that all gets counted as blem and it gets marked down super cheap. The only downside is most blemished products don't fall under like a return policy or a warranty. Like you get what you get, you're stuck with it. But that being said, as long as it performs to, as long as it does what I need it to do, it's probably going to get beat to shit anyway. So I don't care if it looks pretty. So I like what I was seeing there. There's a couple others I want to investigate before I really go off of the threaded barrel. Truth be told, I've already got the light on there. I think my next attachment or my next upgrade is going to be the RMR and the slide milling.
Do it.
Not because it's the coolest, right? Or it's it's because one, it is probably the most expensive because you're not only talking about the sight, but you're talking about getting the slide milled as well. But also because I think it is the greatest force multiplier when it comes to a carry gun.
That is the part that we didn't discuss.
Yeah, why a red dot?
Yeah, so
I mean that's kind of like the big question, right? Like why?
Yeah, so okay. I've got a video somewhere on the interwebs. To my Facebook videos, and I think it's in my Instagram videos, of me at the Bullets on Vehicles class put on by SIG. So we've been doing car stuff. TJ and the military boys would call this vehicle interdiction, which is
we used a helicopter.
Right. Well, I don't have a helicopter. B, if I did, everybody would be dead. Things would just be terrible. But no. So Bullets on Vehicles, 6 hour. Shameless plug for the class. Go take that. It was awesome. They dispel a bunch of vehicle mess. You get to shoot A pillars and B pillars. You get to see where bullets will and won't travel through. I'm sorry, but if you think the engine block is going to do the job, you're sort of mistaken. William Petty, VCQB, centrifuge training. Somebody, dear Lord, go get a vehicle class if you're still buying all that 1980s police bullshit.
Okay, hold on. Real quick, I do have to chime in here. The engine block will do its job. The downside is the misconception is that the engine block is this big. It's not. It's like this big.
Yeah.
And things go around and over and under. Yeah.
And through.
Yeah. Depending.
Yeah. Yeah. So the point, the whole point is there's three things that are reliable cover on a vehicle, and they're the pillars. And they're only reliable cover for as long as they're reliable cover, and they become unreliable cover very quickly. So it's time for you to get your ass in that vehicle the hell out of Dodge if you can, or win the fight pretty quickly. Anywho, at that class, there's a video of me riding shotgun. We've got some gangster music playing, and we're doing some drive-by shooting. There's actually no gangster music. But what you will see is you will see me start at the 25-yard line in a vehicle, and
we're getting the robot voice from you again, Ken.
One moment.
Oh, hold on. We got your headset's got to kick back on, I guess. I got nothing. Check your settings. Sorry, folks.
There we go.
Hey, and no more robot voice. Perfect. All right, continue.
Oh, cool. So long story short, I'm making shots that there's no way in hell I'm going to make with open sights in a moving vehicle on steel repeatedly, driving back and forth at an angle. Why? Because I can track the dot from target to target. I can remain target focused, and I don't have to find a sharp front sight picture on every trigger press. That to me was the moment where I was like, oh yeah, I like this thing.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, if you've never been involved in a shooting or had to even try to shoot in a stressful situation, I don't care if it's on a range or not. If you think you're going to look at the rear sight and the front sight and the target, you're out of your damn mind.
Yeah, you're not.
The red dot sight is truly a force multiplier. Now, again, is it absolutely necessary?
Yes.
Of course not. Come on, Kent.
No,
it's not absolutely necessary. You're not going to die if you don't have a red dot on your pistol.
Kilt in the streets. God damn it. Kilt in the streets. You'll be killed in the streets if you don't have a red dot.
Oh, I thought you said Kilt Industries. I thought you were making a Scottish joke, you insensitive prick.
No, kilt in the streets.
Oh, okay. Kilt in the streets. You'll be kilt dead. Anyway, you're not going to die if you don't have a red dot on your pistol. But if you think you're going to be able to focus on all those things and make clear and well-placed shots and intentional shots, not going to happen. Kent, did we lose you, buddy? Did they kick you off?
No, I'm just dying laughing at Kilt Industries.
It's like, what are you trying? Like, I thought you had Tourette's for a second, bro.
I just like what what's terrible is like Family Guy when Peter Griffin has an idea and then his mind just goes in the other direction.
Yes.
I literally just pictured like Paw Tucket Pat from Family Guy in a kilt with a red dot and a Roland like laying there dead in the streets like this. Just like that was the logo for Kilt Industries. Anyway.
Oh, God help us all. Anyway, but with that being said, that red dot above, I'd put it at equal importance of the light. Truly is going to be a force multiplier. Those well-placed shots, as I've said, as Kent said, tracking your sights, moving from target to target or at target A while moving from place to place. The benefits are just fantastic. They're second to none. Period.
Threat focused shooting is really what the dot is about.
Yes.
If you can continue to look at the thing that's trying to kill you and superimpose a shiny red dot in its chest and press that $200 trigger like your life depends on it, because it probably does, that's what's going to help you. It's going to help you at distance. It's going to help you in off-axis shooting positions. Another thing guys don't think about is I just did the quick little side story. I just did the IDPA 5x5 classifier, my first ever IDPA classifier. So our range guy will be submitting that to IDPA. I classified, what do they call that? Sharpshooter or whatever. I'm 1 second away from the next level up or whatever. Anyway, the reason I classified it in that as opposed to the next one up was strong hand only shooting. And I sunk around. So I got a 2-second penalty sinking around strong hand only. But with the dot, strong hand only, you can acquire that sight and have the sight in the wrong part of the window, so to speak. But you still know that you're on. You don't need to line sights up. If the sight is anywhere visible in that window and that sight is on your target, you can press the trigger and your round's going to go there.
Yep.
So if you're off axis or off kilter or strong hand or weak hand or on your back or wherever you are and you get a weird sight picture, you can still reliably press the trigger and get the results that you need. So that's another huge advantage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, cool, man.
Sweet.
So I think we've pretty much covered this one. I think we can put this one to bed.
Awesome. What are we going to talk about next time?
I haven't thought about it. Then again, I'm not 100% sure what I'm doing tomorrow, let alone next week. So,
well, by then we'll have a new company product launch called Kilt Industries.
Yep.
We'll be doing T-shirts and everything else. Yeah. So I guess we should wrap this up. What do you got coming up for the next week? You got plugs? You got anything you're doing?
Actually, yeah. So I'm going to be going to a USPSA match this Saturday at Eagle Eye Outdoor Shooting Complex in Mount Pleasant, Tennessee. My typical stomping grounds for ranges. Now that the weather's starting to warm up on us, it's time to get back out in the competition circuit. So I want to work on my pistol skills. Generally speaking, no better place to do that than a USPSA match. Less guns to worry about, at least. Going to take the new CZ out. Got the new grips on it. New guide rod. All that other good stuff. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. Hopefully my extra magazines that I ordered will be here before then, or I'm going to be hurting. Running a competition with just 2 magazines is usually not the way you want to go, but challenge, right?
Just don't miss. It's that easy.
Yeah.
Don't ever miss.
Yeah, YOLO. Anyway, but yeah, that's really the big thing for this weekend. Yeah, and hopefully I'll get out and do some training too, not just the competition. But
yeah,
the weather's just been crap here, man. I've been doing a lot of dry fire, a lot of working on some basic fundamentals, down here in the basement. But yeah, weather's been kind of crappy. I am a fair weather range guy. Like I won't go if it's too shitty. It just can't do it.
You know what? It's been so bad here that I had to hang a plate carrier on my rubber dummy in the basement and shoot him. And yeah. I
mean, there's merit to that. Like, he wouldn't be the only person with a range in his basement.
Yeah.
But that being said, yeah, when I go to the range, I want to get better, not get pneumonia. So,
yeah.
But yeah, so either way, warmer weather's coming back up. hopefully see everybody else out at the range if you get a chance. If you're ever in the area, come on out. There's pretty much a competition at that range every weekend. So
if you want to see the tactical bunny hop in action.
If you want to see the tactical bunny hop in action, you got to come out to the range. Yep. But yeah. So Kent, what about you, man?
A couple things. First of all, Green Mountain Defense on YouTube. Go over there and give me a sub. Not like the one with Italian sausage and stuff in it, but the subscribe kind. Please come love me on the internet. That's the only way I have any friends.
The dirtiest thing on this channel.
Yeah. Green Mountain Defense, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all that kind of stuff. Find me, like me, share me, all that cool stuff. Doing some private training. That's been going real well. I've got a dude who's running a double single gun, so I'm having to help him get his learn on with that. That's going well. April 13 and 14, we got Scott Jedlinski coming out here to Lewisberry, PA for Modern Samurai Project. And over at the YouTube channel, I've got a bunch of affiliate links up for Big Daddy Unlimited and Amazon if you'd like to check those out. Help me support me a little bit. But Big Daddy Unlimited, I think we should make that a topic for another thing. Speaking of expensive gear and how to get less expensive gear, we should work that in.
That's a good idea. We'll put a pin on that one and work it into a future.
Yeah.
How to shop for the man in your life that loves guns.
Yeah, absolutely. But other than that, I'm just staying frosty and staying on the range and trying not to suck. So that's all.
Awesome, dude. Well, as always, we appreciate you coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, brother.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime. With that, guys, appreciate you tuning in, joining Kent and I for all of our shenanigans and tomfoolery. As I said before, check out rightonoptics.com, the chosen optics company for the Lead Sling'n Ginger channel. Discount code TRamsey will get you 15% off at checkout. That's 15, you cheapos. But yeah, 15% off at checkout at rightonoptics.com. Go check them out. Veteran and American-owned company. Just absolutely great people. Love working with them, and I'm happy to be a member of their pro staff. With that, hope you all get a chance to get out to the range. If you have any questions, please feel free to post them in the comment section down below. If you like what we're doing here, be sure to hit that like button. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe so you can get alerted and notified every time we are about to go live. We try to do this every week now that I've got, some time. With that, always stay tuned, posting new videos all the time. With that, till we see each other again, God bless and get out and shoot.